Right. Yep. So practice was it 5? No. Let me sure know. Yeah. Practice number 5 in the books. Went inside again. Yeah, I thought we got some work done. Still got a long way to go. Just the learning the schemes and the terminology and how we play and all that's going to be a little bit of a process. Plus, you're never in shape in spring ball. Conditioning really takes place in the summer and August camp. But so right now, we're not in obviously good enough shape to run our stuff the way we want. But they'll get there.
So, Rich, in terms of what you guys do well, I mean, I know it's really early to figure that out, but you talk about tailoring your in tweaking things a little bit. Quarterback does this well, doesn't do that well. You got any feel of what this team can do and what it can't do?
Not yet. I mean, that's part of our goal at the end of spring to find obviously what quarterbacks, what routes they like and what plays they run the best. And then it starts up front. What can we do well up front? And all that. So that's going to be a work in progress. I probably won't know that till 2 weeks into summer camp, in August. So right now I have no idea.
Offensive tweaks. When you were here last time, RPO wasn't really in vogue. How much have you embraced that since then?
Yeah, I think our version of the RPO was probably going on about 10 years before I was even here. The first time, we had different things tagged onto a run game, bubble screens and whatever, and so that was what people call RPO. That's a different kind of RPO, I guess. But that we were doing some of that stuff back then. Now it's kind of expanded to different routes, being part of the RPO stuff. More downfield routes. So we've evolved to doing some of that too. But our base of what we've done has always been kind of consistent.
Practice discussions and how you practice your efficiency there. How close is your pace right now to, say, your last year at Jack State in terms of number of reps, and do you have a goal in mind?
Well, the pace has gotten better. The guys have worked hard. I think the biggest drawback to our pace right now is more coach-oriented. Even though a lot of the coaches have been together, all this whole group, coaches and managers and trainers and everybody else have not worked together but for 5 practices. So, and we meet enough, we meet more than Congress, so you'd think we'd have all that, fix all of our problems, but it's, I'll have another long staff meeting today just talking about the efficiency of coaching and coaching, what I call coaching on the run, like, getting corrected and getting a situational, everything's a situation, down and distance and all that, and we're not doing a really good job staff-wise of managing that. We have a certain number of plays guys are going to run, a certain down and distance, and it's on a script. And, the plays may not be on the script because I go off the script, but the down and distance is on the script. And so to me, we're not efficient enough in practice. I don't think our coaches are still kind of adjusting a little bit to how I want to do it.
That's your best, your peak efficiency. How many plays per minute? How many snaps?
Well, I tell you, we run 5-minute periods like most people do. Some people just do a block at time. I think most people maybe would try to get 6, 7, 8 plays in a 5-minute period. We're trying to get about, probably 15 or 16. It's a little bit different.
Rich, a lot of your staff, as you said, are people you've worked with at some point in the past, but you do have a few new ones. When you went out looking for holes to fill with new guys, so what were you looking for? We're going to talk to Rod Westlet here in a little bit, so give us your thoughts on Rod.
Good coaches could fit in anywhere, and they could fit with any scheme. I didn't really look for guys that was going to bring a certain scheme. Even though anybody we hired, I want to hear what they've done, because you might learn something or get something new. You want everybody that can evaluate and recruit, and recruiting / evaluation, especially the evaluation piece of it, is more important than ever, right? So we got to have guys that can really know how to evaluate and find good players for their position, can coach them, and then also kind of, that'll add to the staff chemistry. I've always been blessed with really good staff chemistry, the assistant coaches and and the rest of the staff, all do a good job. And part of that is hiring just the right kind of personality. And I don't try to change who they are. Like some coaches are louder, more intense during practice. Some guys are quieter. They got to be who they are. But the effectiveness is something that I always I still coach coaches, and been doing it. I don't know how many. What is this? 28 or something years as a head coach. I still think part of my responsibility is to, help coaches coach.
On the staff, Blaine is one that is carried over. He was doing tight ends, now inside receivers. What went into him fitting as an inside receiver? I know you had another tight end coach coming, and how are they working together? How does that work?
No, everybody works together.
Blaine.
I mean, everybody works together.
Right.
So, but I wanted to bring Coach Nicewander. I think he's a really good young coach at tight ends, and he did tight ends and slots, so he could have done other. But I thought Blaine had probably had more experience with slots. He's done it, helped in the NFL doing that, and been a great fit. Blaine, I've known him his whole life, but he's a really good football coach, a good recruiter, and fit, which I thought he would fit seamlessly in with the other guys, and he has.
Let's talk a little bit about cornerbacks. They've had trouble getting them in here, that could play. But the two that they did get in, Rasul Douglas and B.D. Bishop, were both transfers. Is that what you have to do with cornerbacks now, rather than try to develop them as freshmen?
Yeah, it's really hard. That might be. I mean, everybody says quarterback's the hardest position to play as a freshman. It might be corner, and not from a mental standpoint as much as a physical standpoint. I mean, it's a hard position if you're not solid there, like 3 deep solid or 2 deep solid, with at least 3 that can go, you'll get exposed, and especially in our league. So, we attacked that in the portal, got a couple. We got some young guys I think okay, and we still, we talk about it every day. We still may be getting another half dozen or so in the next portal thing, if it doesn't work out. But I like where we progressed from just in these 5 practices. Coach West, Coach Alley, and the rest of the guys. I think our corners have we've challenged them, and they've done pretty well against something that's kind of hard to go against when you go against the tempo stuff. So, but again, we haven't done a full scale on scrimmage and challenged them much yet either.
Fair to say that of all the positions out there, the cornerbacks, the rules probably work against them the most of any position? Yeah,
more so about probably, and especially in the NFL. Hell, if you touch them at all there, they'll throw the flag after 5 yards. Here, they'll let you get around a little bit of grabbing and holding, and we're doing a little bit too much of that right now, I think. We need officials at practice because we're probably grabbing too much. And, if they make them, I always said this, if a wide receiver or an O-lineman makes a mistake, it's 2nd and 10 or 3rd or 10. That corner makes a mistake, it's 6 points. So there's a whole lot of different type of discipline that they have to be at. And we've blown some coverages. We've done a few things, but early in practice, which we expected. But we've got to put them under some pressure now. I'm talking about now in spring, so we'll know what we got in the fall.
Obvious benefits of having a much larger coaching staff than you've had in recent years, but how do you kind of manage all the voices, make sure you get input from everybody, but not, be meeting for?
I yell a lot. Coaches and everybody, they know it's not personal. And we meet. I mean, like I said, we meet way too much, but we'll go in there and we'll watch the film. Like typically, you'd like offense will watch film and defense will watch the film, but we'll watch. This spring, and probably even the beginning of camp, we'll watch a team all together. I mean, the team portion of practice. And so, and I'm, not that I trust my guys completely, but I still kind of like I'm going to coach every play. I'm going to ask what's this guy doing on this coverage and what's this guy doing on this play, and on both sides of the ball. So it helps me learn not what we're doing, but who's doing it too. So I have to evaluate every player. And so by watching it together, hopefully I can know exactly what we're thinking on defense and offense, but I also know what the players are doing.
To that end, and obviously it's a process, which unit would you say is closer, offense or defense, or is that even able to
Nah,
separate
none.
out?
It's just like, yeah, it's probably good, I guess. There's good moments and bad moments on both sides. The biggest thing I get upset about, and I explained to the team today, is that the scheme part, we'll get to that, and then the fundamental part, technique part, we got plenty of time to do that. But loafing or being soft, that's like an everyday thing. Some of that comes out from not quite, being in game shape, not being in shape. And so when you're out of shape, you'll look lazy or you'll look soft. So that's part of it right now. And we haven't had time to get guys in shape like we will in the summer. But some of it, if it's a mentality, that's a huge concern. That's a guy that, okay, they may not even realize it. Until you point it out, you don't even realize that you're being lazy, or you don't even realize that you're being soft. And so we have to point that out immediately and constantly and consistently. And I don't think we've been doing a good enough job with that coaching-wise. Because if I have to yell at them, then what are they doing? You know what I mean? And so our coaches have to be more. I mean, to me, I'm used to it. Like, I see it, I say it, whatever. And our guys are kind of like, I think they're just waiting back. Maybe they're waiting for me to yell. Maybe they like me yelling at them. I don't know. I'm getting tired of yelling already. It's only been 5 practices. Jeez.
With recruiting, obviously things are different with the transfer portal, but anything different, with being in a new league from last time you were here, or anything surprise you, in that role now?
And about what?
Just about recruiting in general?
Oh, not recruiting now. I mean, the scheme-wise, I'll wait till the summer till I do some scouting on them. But recruiting has all changed now. Not 100%, but a lot, just because it's, you could have great facilities, which we do. We have a great environment, which we do. You could have a scheme that fits you, which we think we have a scheme that fits a lot of guys. But if you ain't paying them enough money, they're going to go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Before, you only worried about that with a few schools, that were maybe paying them at church. The pastor was a friend of the program, and they'd go to church and come out of church pretty happy, mom and dad, whatever, and maybe down south somewhere. But now it's like, some guys, they'll change their clothes in a trash can. You give them enough money, they don't care. Hell. But it's a different dynamic.
Former players before, right?
What's that?
You've coached. When you say coaches, right? You've coached former players who were on your staff before. I don't know if I can make that more confusing. You've had former players as assistants, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. What is it like?
Those guys are usually the ones that understand the tempo and the environment, I guess you would say, more than anyone's, because they live it. In fact, those are the ones that won every. I've been really blessed since I've been back, like having former players come back, a whole bunch of them. Almost every day, one or two of the guys come back, and they always embellish. First off, they always embellish the stories. It's never, they always make it seem like it was harder than it was, and they always want to be like, yeah, coach, you can't let them be soft. You can't, I remember when we did this and this and that, and I'm like, I probably yelled at you more than I yelled at them, but they do take great pride in having played in the system, what have you. But so hiring them or having coaches that have been around us, at least understand it. And I'm not going to say every coach wants their team to play hard. No coach wants their team to be soft. So it ain't like we're outliers in that regard. It's just, to what degree do you demand it? And right now we've got to demand it all the time.
So with Pat and Noel, like, great players, and if they could do that, they'd make their pupils great too. Like, just do it like I did it when they were a player. It's not that easy, right? Like, how do you coach them?
That's a good point. It's not just because you were a great player don't make you a great coach. Some coaches think, the average players make really good coaches because they had to, do all the extra stuff to be able to have success. I don't know if that's true. I just think the personality itself. You'll get immediate respect if you've been a great player, of course. But you got to know what you're talking about. Like I said earlier, players, you can do whatever, you can yell whatever you want with the players. If they know you know what you're talking about and you can help them get better, you'll have their attention. And that's the key. We have to have, we got to know what the hell we're talking about, and then players got to see that we're getting them better, better than if we didn't if we weren't around them, and that's what I think. All the staff, I think that's a strength of guys I have on a staff, that they really can help their players get better at every position. I really truly believe that.
So how are you coaching Pat and Noel through this? Where Pat's not new, but Noel is, and
Yeah, I mean they're fitting in great. I mean they're listening. And when I get it on them, I get on them. I'm like, they're learning how to coach. And Pat's got a little bit of experience coaching, and Noel's done some stuff too. But this is big boy college football, and it's a great opportunity and a great responsibility for them to prove themselves and climb the ladder. They got long careers out ahead of them, and they're going to be. Both of those, for instance, are going to be great coaches. And then we have a guy like Rasheed Marshall. Rasheed's, has been here, and I'm fortunate he was already here. He's a former player that does a great job with our guys off the field. I mean, not a good job, a great job. So I'm very fortunate to have those guys around.
One more, you were talking about the corners maybe having the most difficult transition here. Is that from a technique standpoint too? Is that the position that has the biggest jump from, say, high school, JUCO, lower levels to coming here?
Probably because of who they're going to go against. When you're going to have, at this level, every quarterback you're going to face can throw it. You know what I mean? That's, maybe in high school you've been a great corner, but that quarterback you're playing against couldn't throw it across the street. You know what I mean? So, but you come in this level, they're going to have wide outs that can catch, but more importantly, they're going to have quarterbacks that can throw and can throw the ball deep. And we've got a bunch of quarterbacks that can throw. I mean, our quarterbacks can throw the ball, and so you're going to be under constant pressure. And you have the best ones have a certain self-confidence that they don't mind getting challenged. They want the ball thrown their way. And some of the young guys we got, I think we've gotten better there. But we also have to give them some help. We can't just always leave them on an island, so to speak, too.
Rich, how much do you use a pure fullback now? Or you just put tight ends back there?
Yeah, tight ends, and we got a role. Our tight ends are, I know we talked earlier. We got to be pretty versatile. They got to be able to block in the box and then run routes outside the perimeter. And we've got a couple of guys that are kind of built. And we have some short yardage stuff, and we do a lot of 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, and 13 with 3 tight ends. So there's a role for it. The hardest part is I've got an idea, but not dead set on the 105, exactly how many tight ends we're going to have, how many receivers, running backs. That number is still, we're still adjusting that and getting ready. I hate that. I hate the rule at 105. I wish they'd let us grandfather the guys in there that are in the program or give us to 120. Doesn't make sense. We're making all these millions of dollars and whatever, and they're going to cut our roster to 105, and the guy gets hurt, you can't replace him. You can't replace him. And that's kind of a silly rule, I think.
Rich, we don't think we've actually asked you about this yet. Do you have any thoughts on any of the reporting and the rumors about maybe changes to the college football playoff format and the Big Ten SEC trying to have extra spots?
Yeah, they're trying to get more. I don't blame them. Do y'all? I mean, I'm SEC, Big Ten. I'm trying to get more automatic spots, whatever. I think the Big 12's in a good position. And
there was some that even brought up last year that Penn State had a better season than, say, Boise State, but they
the seeding part didn't make no sense. They're changing that, I think, right? Not that it matters. I mean, hell, if there's 12 or 16 and there's 24 and we get in, I think we're all going to be happy, right? But it's I think it's still a work in progress. I mean, that part of it, I think, is everybody, which I don't blame the SEC or the Big Ten. They want to get more money for themselves. The Big 12 wants to get more money. I think our commissioner's doing anything and everything to make sure our league is getting all the stuff we can. I think the ones that are in the hardest position are the Group of 5. I was in the Group of 5 deal, and they might get one bid, but they're slowly. I've always thought it was kind of trending toward like a 60-some team Division One, and then the next Group of 5 was the next 60 or so, and all that. I still think it's trending that way, but it's hard to. I mean, I probably say it's hard to screw up college football, is it not? I mean, it's the best. I mean, fanatical interest, TV, fan attendance, whatever. It's hard to screw up, but it seems like we've been doing what we can in the last several years to screw it up. You hadn't screwed it up yet, but there's some problems being fixed. They don't ever ask us coaches about our opinion. They might ask us, "This is what we're going to do. What do you think?" Well, okay. I'm glad for your opinion. Then we'll go do our own thing. They don't probably ask for y'all's opinion either, do they? Jeez.
Rich, revenue sharing is right around the corner. When do you have discussions with players or agents or whomever about what's to come?
Yeah, some of that was going on in the last portal period in January. A lot of discussions there. I had way too many. And then I hired Chuck Lilly, my GM. I'm saying, you can handle these agents. I'm tired of talking to agents. That's, if I have to, I will, but stick a needle in my eye, right? Jeez. But we'll have another discussions right after spring ball. And we kind of have a little different, I don't say a different model. We kind of have like a NFL kind of model, salary cap kind of a deal that the quarterbacks are going to QB1, QB2, QB3, and left tackle 1, left tackle 2 is going to be slotted for this amount. And, that's going to be hard to tell after just spring ball. So we have to have some adjustment period after fall camp too. We got to be able to make sure we have money to pay the guys. We have it out. Robert Carroll hadn't got it out. We talk about having hard edge and earn success. We want to truly be a program that people earn success, and when they have success and they've played and done well, whatever, they get paid accordingly. And so we have a formula to kind of do that, and we've got to be disciplined enough to adhere to it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.